Ah, the venerable F10. So today, pan gasket time. I don't know how hard it'll be on this car. There's usually generally some more room to work on an F10 than there is on an E90. So I'm gonna pull off all the under trays, which I've actually had off of this car once before. But yeah, let's take a look. So I've got the rack and the sway bar out. It's just a matter of a few E-Torx bolts. I also took the T30s out of the electrical plug holder for the power steering EPS. Just didn't want to stress it. Then ripped the E10 out of the steering shaft after marking it. So I'll be able to get that back together exactly how it was supposed to be. Next up, I'm actually going to pull the 13s out of the bottom of the motor mounts. And I'm going to get my engine bar. It seems like there might be just enough room if I can lift the oil pan like an inch to get it out. So that would be great if I didn't actually have to drop the subframe on this car. So this was BMW's genius solution. And actually it works really, really well. So yeah. E39 tow hook to the rescue. Oh man, that sucked. If you have the opportunity to do one of these, I suggest you don't. Really the kicker ended up being in here. There are two 13mm bolts that go through sideways. Those guys, and then you just have to drop the hardware out of these plastic things here, because the rack's got to come down quite a ways. But yeah, there we are. There's the inside of an N55. As you can see, the subframe is down quite a way. But it'd be pretty easy to swap a turbo from here. Big old EPS power wire in here, so be careful. And then all the sense wires come up through here. So again, be careful. There's enough slack where I'm not too worried about it. But yeah, there's our pan. Neat. Just like that, pan gasket is swapped. My trick for these is actually, with no pan on the engine at all, put the gasket on the bottom of the block once you've cleaned it. Just lightly thread 2 bolts in the back. That'll let you not screw up your pan gasket as you shove the pan back into the car. And then once it's in, you can put all new hardware in, tighten it down from the middle out. Look up the torque spec. I don't actually know what it is. These are one-time use. That's the part number for the BMW manual N55 set anyway. The torque isn't much. So obviously be careful, because if you ruin one of those, it's real bad. But I've got it at a safe stopping point for right now. I really shouldn't leave it dangling on the load bar up top, but I'm tired, so I'm going to. Okay, I lied. I didn't feel comfortable leaving the rack dangling, so rack, sway bar, subframe, engine mounts, pan bolts, oil level sender, all back in. I'm gonna throw the steering shaft bolt back in before I leave here, because I do not want to forget that later, but I'm headed out for the night. I'll come back to this later. All done. Filled it up with oil, new filter, got everything back together. Job done. Slightly older and slightly better than the F10. The E39 is back on the lift because I was actually able to find a full right front strut assembly for it. This one has quite blown suspension on it. So I'm gonna try to swap that out. This little guy. Shouldn't take too long. These are just a collar on the bottom, and then there's just enough clearance where you should be able to pop it out. So give it a go. Whew. Not bad.